Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Nadhaya Namaha, Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Today, in the satsang, we are going to talk about SriSaisatcharita chapter 5 and some of the important aspects and what can we learn from the chapter 5. We all know that Baba stayed in Shridi as a young boy for a little bit of time, and then he left Shirdi, and nobody really knew where he went. And later on, he suddenly appeared in a small village by name Dhoop in Aurangabad district. There was a person, a village head by name of Chand Patil, who lost his horse, and he was searching for the horse for more than 2 months. And the story we know is that Chand Patil goes to Shirdi to see a bride for one of his family members. And then while coming back, he loses that horse. He looked all over and he could not find the horse. And that horse was very dear to him. And he lost his hope in finding this horse. And one day he was looking in an area and he was walking by and then sees a fakir sitting under a mango tree and who later shows where his horse is. And we read that story from SriSaisatcharita. Patil looked all around several times, but it was not there. Because Baba shows him where the horse is, and then he already looked at that place. He couldn't find it. And he was surprised to see this special fakir creating a fire and water out of nowhere. Then this Patil begs this fakir to come to his house and accept his service. And we read this story several times in the Satcharita, but let us learn the inner meaning of this incident. Here, the lost horse indicates our mind, and we are strayed from God. We deviated our path, and we are wandering, ignoring the wisdom part of it, and not knowing the truth. Then, at that time, Guru comes along to show us the correct path. Baba used his satka, the stick-like thing, to get fire from the earth, which represents the lighting of the inner wisdom in us. But to sustain this knowledge, we need to dilute the bad qualities in us. This is like putting the cloth, the wet cloth, around that chillum that they smoke when they inhale the tobacco. Once this wisdom is installed, then we have to realize the importance of Guru in our lives. That means we have invited Guru to our home like Patil did. Here, our home means our heart. This is where we have to install Baba. We have to do a prana pratishta kind of thing for Baba. Baba goes to Shirdi second time with a marriage procession of Chand Patil, wife's nephew. As soon as he arrived there, the Bhakta Mahalsapati says, Avo Sai. That means, come Sai. So until that time, nobody called him, this fakir, with a name. So Mahalsapati was the first one to call him Sai. And then later on, people started calling Baba as Sai Baba. Mahalsapati was kind of waiting for a guru. His wish became true once Sai came to the Shirdi. Then Sai made the Dwarka Mai as his abode. He used to have discourses or satsang with Devi Das and Janaki Das, who were already in Shirdi before Baba came there. And this was his routine every day. And he also liked growing plants. He brought some flowering plants from Rahata and used to water with mud pitchers every day. These were raw pitchers, raw pots, and were not fully burned and made to last long. So they used to break by evening after Baba used them to pour water for these plants. This same place where he grew this garden became Samadhi Mandir later on. This could be seen as the daily actions that we perform every day, which become impressions. But if they are analyzed every day, they will not sustain as impressions. If we continue like this, our heart will become Samadhi Mandir one day. If we ignore this, then we have to go through multiple lifetimes, multiple janmas. Then in the chapter, the Hemad Pant talks about how padukas were installed under the neem tree. There was a person named Bai Krishnaji Ali Bakar who was a staunch devotee of Akkalkot Maharaj, stayed in Shirdi to worship Baba. He gets a vision that Akkalkot Maharaj is in Shirdi in the form of Sai. To commemorate this special worship, he installed the padukas under the neem tree with the help of other people in Shirdi. Upasani Baba and Dada Kelkar played a major role in this. If we worship Guru Padukas, we will get Gnana as a blessing quickly. Guru Gita and Adi Shankaracharya's Guru Paduka Stotra also praise the importance of Guru Padukas. Guru Gita says that all the tirthas and holy places are in Guru's feet. Baba gives us darshan as Lord Dakshinamurti so that we can easily access his feet easily. He sits in such a way that when we touch Baba's feet with our head, it will send some special vibrations to us. Faith and patience are the essential qualities to worship Guru. Here in this chapter, next they talk about how Baba wrestled with Mohiuddin Tamboli and lost the wrestling match. They say that Baba then changed his way of dressing by wearing a long kafni and his head covered with a piece of cloth. In a similar way, Gangagir also used to have a passion towards the wrestling, and he also had a transformation after he had a call towards spirituality. Once we turn towards God and Guru appears in our life, we might have to face some inner enemies to improve ourselves. Because these inner enemies, we went along with them. We never tried to change. This is like a wrestling match between good qualities versus the bad ones. This is where we need some dispassion towards the worldly objects. It doesn't matter about to win or lose in fighting these inner demons. Once you realize that they are there, that's good enough. Then there will be a change in your life. There will be a change in your attitude. But if we have Guru in our life, we can tackle anything. Baba never spoke by himself unless someone interacted with him and asked a question. He used to sit most of the time under the neem tree, and sometimes people used to find him under the shade of bobble tree near the outskirts of village, and there was a stream there, and he liked sitting there also. And he used to sleep in the masjid and recite God's name all the time. People say that he used to dance in a rhythmic way by wearing anklets, and he also used to sing beautifully some bhajans. Once Baba lighted the lamps with water when the shopkeepers in the Shridi village refused to give him oil. And before that, they used to give oil to Baba, but all of a sudden they all decided not to give Baba. And they lied to Baba that they do not have any oil. And they were all amazed and surprised by watching Baba lighting up the lamps with water. Then they realized their mistake and asked for Baba's forgiveness. Baba wanted them to be honest. Here we can learn so much as Kakad Harati and Sage Harati teaches us about lighting the lamps of inner soul with the oil of Vairagya, that is dispassion. Even if we deny Baba at times and get busy in our life, like the shopkeepers refused to give the oil to Baba, he won't leave us like that. He will somehow ignite the devotion in us. And lastly, in this chapter, Hemad Pant talks about Jawahar Ali, who claimed that he was the guru of Sai Baba. With this incident, Baba showed how a guru needs to be served. It doesn't matter here whether Jawahar Ali was a real guru or not, but in this whole thing, Jawahar Ali was a pawn in this Leela of Sai. Baba was teaching us to be careful when we are treading the path of spirituality, because people can feel that they know everything. In fact, there is so much to learn and experience. Shraddha and Saburi are essential factors in this journey. Let us all pray to Baba to give us this kind of blessing so that we can advance in our spiritual quest. So with these incidents and stories that we learned from the chapter 5, we have to make sure that we grow and always invite Guru into our life. Once the Guru enters our lives, then everything changes. So Sai Bandhus, let us all remember, like Mahalsapati did, let us hope that Sai will guide us, and let us pray that Sai will guide us in our spiritual life and daily life also. Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Nadhaya Namaha, Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha, Sri Sadguru Sai Nadharpanamastu, Subham Bhavato. Om Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai.